What is up, guys? It is AJ. We are doing the Bellator 263 full card predictions and betting tips. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I need at least 150 likes on this Bellator breakdown. Honestly, sweet main event with Pitbull versus McKee. Some actual quality names throughout this Bellator card. It's a good one. I know the last Bellator card we did, 262, wasn't all that great. Big step up. High-level names. Honestly, superstars in Bellator at the top. I'm excited to break down every fight on the card. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe here too. And let's get into it. First fight of the night. All the way down at the bottom. Okay, so kind of no names here in this fight. It's Justin Berry versus Daniel Compton. Berry, professional debut for him. On the other side, Compton has one fight in the UFC. And honestly, in the UFC, in Bellator, not supremely active. How long ago was this fight? It was a year and 10 months ago. With COVID, I guess it's an understandable delay. Justin Berry has Muay Thai experience, and I did a bit of digging on him. Also brings in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, competes in Jiu-Jitsu. He was a champion in WKA Muay Thai nationally. Southpaw definitely seems to have that Thai style when he fights mixed martial arts. You know, one amateur fight in his MMA background way back in 2013. Decent kicks and definitely a lead hand heavy puncher. So definitely going to see a lot of right hand shots from the Southpaw, a lot of jabs, but a bit of awkward jabs. I guarantee you it's improved since his early MMA fights, and I've seen a little bit of his Muay Thai action, but granted, it's such a different style in Muay Thai versus MMA striking. On the other side, Daniel Compton. Pretty good wrestling skill set that he brings to the table. Striking-wise, he is very aggressive, and I would even say a bit awkward. True matchup here that's a toss-up because neither guy has all that much experience at the higher level. Odds, I don't even believe, are out for this fight. Yeah, we have no odds at the moment for this matchup. They could be all over the place. I expect Compton to be moderate favorite. He's the more active fighter, seems to be more dedicated to the professional fighter's lifestyle. I'll lean you Daniel Compton, but I would not suggest playing with this fight at all. I think Compton potentially with a TKO on the ground, maybe even a decision, but if it is pure striking, the Muay Thai fighter Justin Berry could definitely land big strikes. I mean, you look, some losses in the past by KO for Daniel Compton. It's a toss-up fight. It's not a fight you want to bet on. We'll slightly lean Compton as of right now. I definitely want to see them face off. We don't even have the height of Justin Berry. No stats on him. So we'll go Compton by a TKO, but a fight that you're probably going to wait on to see it, further on in the week, maybe when they face off. But even then, you're probably not going to want to throw any of your money down on that one. Johnny Cisneros versus Joshua Jones. All right, so this matchup I'm expecting fireworks. On one side, Cisneros, he is an entertaining brawler. The man has come back from nearly being knocked out in the past. Kind of that gutsy brawling style, like wild style, chin down, overhand shots, likes to bang inside. On the other side, Joshua, he is a pretty decent kickboxing southpaw, explosive with his striking and does explode into range fairly well. Granted, previous fight at 160, the man looked obese. Like he looked like carrying a good amount of extra body fat. He's going to be outsized in this matchup against Johnny Cisneros here. I think that we're going to see Johnny for the win. I'm predicting knockout. I think actually first round KO for Johnny Cisneros here over Joshua Jones. I will pick him. Betting odds wise, let's see what they are looking like currently. Cisneros, the plus 155 underdog, even all the way up at plus 170. The Joshua Jones, the minus 185 favorite. I'll ride the underdog Cisneros, especially being the naturally bigger guy. He's taller by 2 inches, longer by 6 inches. Lots of factors striking, and it's going to be, I think, a highly contested fight on the feet, and I think Cisneros does get the knockout here. Definitely would be a bit of a dangerous bet to throw money down on a 40-year-old, but if you sprinkle it intelligently, he is an underdog, maybe a KO prop when that opens up. We'll talk about it in the best bets video. But we're going with Johnny Cisneros to win this second fight of the night. Let's keep on moving up. Khasan Magomedsharipov versus Jonathan Quiroz. Obviously, you see the V at the end of the name, and you see they're from Dagestan. you kind of know who to pick. We already know who's going to win this fight. It's going to be Magomedsharipov. It's the brother of Zabit Magomedsharipov. The man's kicks are off the chain, but he also is a damn good grappler. The man is extremely heavy on top, quality takedowns too to get you to the ground. Pressure attack, will look for submissions, will look for ground and pound. I think he's going to dominate Jonathan Quiroz. Quiroz is not a terrible fighter. He's a rangy kickboxer, some decent low kicks, and his punches are not bad. Does like to throw hooks inside, could potentially catch lesser fighters. He's not going to catch Khasan Magomedsharipov. I feel like Sharipov could strike, could wrestle. He can win this fight anywhere. I'll predict he wins by submission in the first round, but I would not be surprised if it's by KO. I mean, Quiroz, one thing I do have to note, did go the distance with a very good grappler in AJ Agazarm. Granted, not a good mixed martial artist. He's a good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Wouldn't be shocked if Khasan wins by a knockout either. Knockout, submission, it's an inside the distance domination. Khasan Magomedsharipov wipes the floor with Jonathan Quiroz here. Who got to commend him taking the fight, and he is a tough guy. But he's going to be beaten here badly. Let's see if any odds are available for this fight at the moment. I am not seeing any for this fight yet, and it's going to be massively in favor of Magomedsharipov. So betting-wise, maybe a parlay edition, definitely a lock play style of matchup. Next fight, Brian Moore versus Jordan Winski. That's an interesting nickname. Both these guys, the Pike Man and not great nicknames on either side, but I guess the Winski kind of has a weird flow to it. With Jordan Winski, you do have a guy who's a pretty pressure-heavy striker. He is quick, and he does have decent kicks as well. His left high kick, I would say, is his best of all his kicks, especially maybe even all of his strikes. On the other side, though, you have Moore, who's a pressure kickboxer who will look to force opponents backwards and against the cage. From there, he will unload combinations. He's actually pretty dangerous in close with his straight punches. Watch out for them, and I think Winski could potentially be caught by them. He's been knocked out in the past. The man takes a lot of time off since his last fight. When was it? It was 2 years and 1 month ago versus 9 months ago. Does have a loss to Ryan Lilly over in LFA. I think that the Pike Man, Brian Moore, is going to knock Jordan Winski out in the second round in what I expect to be a pretty entertaining, striking style of matchup with Jordan Winski. Let's see if there's odds for this fight just yet. Another one where the odds are not out yet, but I do think they will be competitive. Winski coming in on short notice. He's going to be the underdog here. I think Brian Moore will be sitting around the minus 150 range if I had to guess. We'll see when the official odds do drop. Potential play on Moore, but play it lightly and intelligently. He's 13-7 as a pro. On the other side, you have an 11-2 fighter in Winski who's not all that active. The records I don't think really matter here because the competition level, you see a lot of Bellator fights for Brian Moore has been in there with names like AJ McKee, Daniel Vaicho, Noad Lahat. He's fought a lot more high-level guys. So I will ride with Brian Moore here over Jordan Winski. He's not going to catch the dub in this matchup. Next one, Georgi Insane Karakhanyan versus Kiefer Big Daddy Crosbie. Fun little lightweight fight here between guys that aren't necessarily contenders but have solid skill sets. Karakhanyan is a pretty light-footed striker. He's got good movement, and he packs powerful punches. His hooks are fantastic. His grappling skills are actually very good. On the other side, Crosbie, athletic kickboxer with pretty solid low kicks. He's a guy that likes to bang. His hooks are strong. Elbows in close are dangerous. Granted, he can be caught hurt. And a guy like Karakhanyan, I think, has the perfect style to beat Kiefer Crosbie. I will predict Georgi Karakhanyan to win by KO in the second round. I don't think first round. It could be first round, but I think Crosbie can survive that first. I'm leaning second round knockout for Georgi Insane Karakhanyan here. I think that's when he's going to put Kiefer Crosbie to the ground. Maybe 2 minutes into that second round, I do think we'll have an action-packed striking battle. Could potentially go to the floor. I think the advantage is Georgi Karakhanyan there, so we'll ride with him to win this bout betting-wise. Massive favorite. Karakhanyan sitting around the minus 245 to like plus 200 for Kiefer Crosbie, depending where you go. At best value, Crosby's a plus 214 underdog. At best value for Karakhanyan, though, minus 245. Maybe a parlay addition for Karakhanyan, but over the age of 35, though, I still think stylistically he matches up well and has enough left in the tank to beat Crosbie here. But Crosby's not a bad fighter. I think it's an inside the distance play potentially. We'll see what that is at, actually, because I think it's out at the moment. Let's check. No, it's not out yet. When the odds drop for that, which will be on that best bets video, we will deep dive the Bellator betting odds, and we'll probably be talking about an inside distance play for that fight. Let's get to the next of our prelims. It is Gadzhi Rabadanov versus Daniel Carey. So this matchup here is between an ex-PFL fighter who had success over in the PFL in Gadzhi. He's a solid kickboxer who uses his striking to set up the takedowns. His wrestling's extremely good. His level changes are super quick. From the top, has a lot of control. He's heavy in that top position. On the other side, Daniel Carey is a decent striker with a square stance, solid kicking game to him, especially to the body. But the lead hand's low, out a bit far. Granted, striking in this fight I don't think is going to be his concern. I think he's going to be taken to the ground on a consistent basis by Gadzhi Rabadanov. Gadzhi Rabadanov. That's a tricky name to pronounce. But Gadzhi, he's going to get the dub here. I think he's probably going to do it by a dominant unanimous decision. You look at some of his wins, tend to be by decision, potentially by KO in some of them. But here, I think unanimous decision, lots of top control, lots of takedowns. I'm going Gadzhi Rabadanov for this victory in this fight. Odds for this one, he's a huge favorite, minus 450 to plus 396 at best value for Daniel Carey. Pretty clear-cut path to victory for Gadzhi. Get the fight to the ground, and I think he definitely will here against Daniel Carey in this prelim bout. Let's keep on moving up. The next one, Vanessa Porto versus Ilara Joanne. Okay, so this matchup here between these two girls, honestly, I'm not like super pumped for it because Porto was in a snoozer against Liz Carmouche, but that's kind of on the fault of Carmouche. She tends to not be the most entertaining fighter. Granted, Porto didn't really push the pace all that much. She's a decent striker, this being Porto, with solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I would say that she has a pretty well-rounded game. Patient style of striker against higher volume girls can get her into a bit of trouble. On the other side, Ilara Joanne is a solid striker with good hands, powerful hooks, fast hooks, but will get a bit wild inside. I think she's going to be susceptible to takedowns against superior grapplers. I think wrestling-wise, Porto has an edge. I think she's going to find a way to potentially get this fight to the floor. It's a good, fun matchup, but I do think Vanessa Porto should be able to control where this fight goes. Potential clinch battles. She'll win this fight. Vanessa Porto by a decision. It's women's MMA, though, so you'd be running a risk game. Porto's a pretty strong favorite. Minus 240. Joanne plus 234. Dog. I like the favorite at minus 240 here, but not going to be betting it personally. It's women's MMA, and it's a bit of a strange matchup, right? I mean, yes, there's a loss to Watanabe, but she also has a win against Beck Rawlings. Good submission game. Trains with the Pitbull brothers. This Ilara Joanne. The other side, like long-time female MMA staple. We're going Porto by decision. She should be a good-to-go victory, but betting-wise, it's women's MMA. If you want to play it intelligently. And Porto's also a fairly strong favorite in that minus 240 range, so not the best straight bet. But let's get to the main card. If you guys have not yet, smash that like button. As I said, we need at least 150 likes on this Bellator full card breakdown. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Subscribe if you guys are new here, and let's talk about it. It's Chris Gonzalez versus Goiti Yamauchi. I like this fight. Gonzalez, southpaw with okay stand-up. He's got athletic stand-up, but not super technical. His wrestling is where he shines. Very good wrestler, heavy top pressure, pretty good ground and pound. Made Roger Huerta tap the strikes in the last one. On the other side, Yamauchi is a southpaw as well, is a submission specialist. He is extremely well-versed when the fights get to the ground. Nasty Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Striking-wise, has like a karate-esque style. Will leave that lead hand out. And honestly, does have some pretty good kicks as well. Gonzalez striking, I think, is at a disadvantage with Yamauchi. Grappling, he's at a disadvantage. I think he's going to look to get this fight to the ground. He's going to probably have to. I think he's going to get submitted in the first round. I'll ride Yamauchi by submission round one. I think he's going to get a staple win after a very controversial loss against Dan Moret in the last one. I thought he clearly should have won that fight, though Moret tougher than expected. I think Gonzalez is going to play the grappling game here potentially, and that's when he's going to find himself in a bit of trouble. I ride Yamauchi by a submission. He is very slight favorite at the -140 range. Gonzalez around the +124 range, depending where you're betting at. Let's see what prop is available there for this one. I guess no props are available. No props yet for any of these fights. The props will be out later on this week, and we will dive deep on the best bets video. But yeah, got to ride Yamauchi. I am a fan of him. I love his style. He's actually, interestingly enough, the younger guy than the prospect Chris Gonzalez, who's 30. Yamauchi is only 28 years of age, and he already has 30 pro bouts. This is his 31st. So big experience edge. I think that's going to be a factor here. Yamauchi for a win by submission in the first. Let's get to the next fight on this main card. It's Islam Mamedov versus Brent Primus. Now, grappling-wise, Mamedov is a very aggressive chain wrestler. He's going to continuously look to get fights to the ground. Usually he's eventually going to get you to the ground. After as many attempts, he's going to be shooting at you. Top pressure is heavy. On the other side, Brent Primus is a slick Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter. The man has nasty submissions off of his back. Coming off a 2-fight win streak. Granted, the names are not fantastic. Tim Wild and Chris Bungard does have a loss by decision to Michael Chandler, but also has a injury win over Michael Chandler where he won the belt. It wasn't all, in my opinion, that impressive. It was kind of a freak accident injury. I don't think Brent Primus is going to go out there and beat Islam Mamedov. I don't think he's going to be able to find a way to land the submission here against a guy with the top pressure as heavy and the submission defense as good. I am riding Islam Mamedov by a decision in this matchup, probably unanimous. And he is a, what type of favorite? Slight. Nah, not a slight. He's a strong. -190 is fairly strong. He's a -190 favorite. Primus around the +175 range for the dog. Interesting how widespread the odds are. I guess the former champ Primus not getting all that much love on the lines, and especially against these Russians. You see that V at the end, and they have good grappling games. It's very hard for these American wrestlers to deal with. Primus is well-rounded, but the striking is not extremely good. I think he's going to struggle with the chain wrestling attack, and I don't find him submitting Islam Mamedov. I can't really see it. I think it'd be extremely difficult to do low percentage of that upset. So we'll go with Islam Mamedov by a decision victory in this fight. Let's get to it. It is our featured bout of the night. Usman Nurmagomedov versus Manny Muro. This is a fight that I am actually pretty excited for because Manny Muro is a tough SOB. Usman Nurmagomedov is a damn hot prospect. This is a good journeyman fight for him, like his building steps into his pro career. Manny Muro, solid striker, wins over Nick Newell and Devin Powell. He's got fast hands and he closes the distance very well. His left hook is very good and his overhand is very quick. The other side, Nurmagomedov, southpaw who can mix it up with both stances. He's a dynamic kickboxer. He controls range at an elite level. His jab is fantastic. He has excellent wrestling. There's really no complaints with this kid, Usman Nurmagomedov, for having 12 pro bouts. And how old is he? 23? Special young fighter. He's fighting a 34-year-old Manny Muro here. He's a tough, long-time vet of the game. 20 professional bouts nearly. I guess it's 18. We're riding with Usman Nurmagomedov. He will go the distance here, though. I think Manny Muro's pretty durable and he's going to last. But Usman Nurmagomedov should be able to win all 3 rounds for a clear-cut, dominant, unanimous decision. And we need to keep our eye on this young prospect, Usman Nurmagomedov. Odds-wise, strong favorite. -800 to +620. It's the Usman Nurmagomedov show here. Manny Muro is not an easy fight for a lot of guys, but Usman Nurmagomedov's striking style is going to give him hell on the feet. I see him jabbing his face off, destroying the legs, defending any type of wrestling attack, probably mixing in some takedowns of his own. It's going to be clear-cut and dominant. Usman Nurmagomedov for the win in our featured bout of the night. The next one, Burnell versus Emmanuel Sanchez. This is a fight that has me pretty excited because Emmanuel is an OG Bellator guy. The man's been around forever. Recent loss to Pitbull. That was his first loss by finish. He's well-rounded, and he loves to fight. He's a pressure striker that likes to bang, but he actually is pretty technically schooled. He has good kickboxing skills. You look on the ground, his Brazilian jiu-jitsu is very good, and his get-ups are also solid as well. So if you put him down, it's going to be hard to keep him down. On the other side, Mads Burnell, striking-wise, he tends to keep his style tight, but will sometimes play around a bit, dropping the hands, feinting a bit too much. Grappling is where he shines. He's a very good grappler. His top control is excellent. His submission skill set, high level. He's going to be difficult for a lot of guys in this Bellator featherweight division to deal with on the ground. But Emmanuel Sanchez has seen pretty much everything. He's been in there with some of the best names in the game as far as Bellator goes. In his prime, 30, nearly 31. I think he's going to beat Mads Burnell here by a decision. He will pull off the upset victory because he is the underdog very slightly. Or actually, no. Wow. Interestingly enough, I think the lines have shifted from when I first looked. They're near pick'ems, minus 115 for Sanchez. So I guess Sanchez is even money, essentially, here for this fight. I'm surprised, but I thought that potentially Mads Burnell would be an ever so slight favorite here. But I think Emmanuel Sanchez has the style to beat Mads Burnell. I'll pick him for a win by a unanimous decision. Gonna beat Mads here. Going to be a big comeback win for Emmanuel Sanchez. But let's get to it. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, smash that like button. Need at least 150 likes on this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Subscribe if you guys are new here too, covering all things MMA here at MMA Experts. And let's talk about this matchup. It's Patricio Pitbull versus AJ McKee. McKee's 17-0. He's been flawless throughout his career, destroying everyone coming in his path as of recent. Quick wins after quick wins after quick wins. He quickly beat Darian Caldwell, beat Derek Campos by a submission, and then knocked out Georgi Karakhanyan. That was a one-shot KO. Striking-wise, his kickboxing is very good from range. He's patient with his striking, but he does also, attack well, has a bit of power in the hands, but it's more the timing that sets up the powerful strikes. He's a well-schooled fighter, nasty Brazilian jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. He is a true, well-rounded mixed martial artist at just 26. Sky's the limit for AJ McKee. But on the other side, you have a monster of a man. You have, in my opinion, probably Bellator's greatest of all time, Patricio Pitbull. Multiple-time champion. He's currently the two-weight world champion, though he's not fighting up a weight class. Nasty Thai-style striking, serious KO power. Amazing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I mean, the way he set up that submission over Emmanuel Sanchez, a guy who was never finished, extremely impressive. You have to like Patricio Pitbull here over AJ McKee. The young prospect has everything, but he doesn't have that blemish on the record, and it's very hard to stay undefeated in this game. And I think his time has come for the O. Stylistically, I think striking-wise, I find Pitbull closing distance, landing a big punch, hurting AJ McKee and TKOing him, potentially locking up a submission when he's hurt, but I'm going to pick TKO. I'm riding Patricio Pitbull for a knockout in round number 2. He was going to beat the red-hot contender AJ McKee, who still has an extremely bright future ahead of him. I just don't think yet. I think that Patricio Pitbull is going to beat him, and this will be a huge win for Pitbull. Who knows what's next? Granted, don't sleep on McKee. It's not an easy fight, but I really feel like Patricio Pitbull can defeat the mercenary odds-wise. Pitbull, slight favorite, minus 125. AJ McKee, minus 100. The odds are near pick'ems. I'm excited to see when the props open up for this fight. I find Pitbull striking, landing big power shots. I think if AJ McKee does look to wrestle, he could potentially run into a submission threat from Patricio Pitbull as he's getting the takedown. I don't see him controlling Pitbull from the top position. I don't see Pitbull looking to take down AJ McKee. I see Pitbull looking to close distance on the longer fighter, land powerful strikes, which he will, and that's why I'm riding knockout second round, Patricio Pitbull. He is going to beat the mercenary AJ McKee. Now, let's see if we could potentially talk some parlays, but I don't know if Best Fight Odds even has it up yet. No, it does not. And I don't think you can parlay things up with fightodds.io. Let me see if I'm missing anything here, but I don't believe you can. If you guys know how to do it on on FightOdds.io, let me know, but I don't think they have a feature for that. If I had to throw one at you, it's not going to have the odds listed. Definitely be Usman Nurmagomedov. It would be Magomedsharipov, the brother of Zabit. And I also feel like Gadzhi Radzhabov should definitely win. That's 3 fighters that I feel are pretty strong confidence plays. And then maybe you also add in the hard-nosed Emmanuel Sanchez. If you're looking to add a little flair to it, you want to play a dog, maybe you add in Johnny Cisneros early, but that would be a bit of a risk, though he's a bigger guy. We'll talk parlays deep on the best bets video, so this gives you even more inclination to tune into that best bets video because we will be able to deep dive the parlays, and we're going to go super deep with all the bets on this card. This was the full card predictions and betting tips. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Need at least 150 likes. Subscribe if you guys are new here. I appreciate you all so much for tuning into these videos. Love everybody who supports the channel. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next video.